everyone, it's Sam here, and today I'm going to show you how to make this card. Now, some of you, if you join my Facebook Lives, you will remember this one, but it's been a while. It's probably been, I want to say maybe 6 months ago that I made this card. Could even be a bit longer, and I did then say, I'll promise I'll get it on YouTube, but I just have so many cards to make, so things do get forgotten. Anyway, I have finally got around to doing it. So I'm not going to be actually doing an Alice in Wonderland theme. This one I've been keeping. I love this one. I have it displayed on my my shelf behind me. I'm going to make a Christmas version today using some fun Shaun the Sheep products, but you can use anything in your stash. It doesn't have to be a Christmas card, and you can alter the size as well if you don't want something as big as I've made here, and I will explain all of that in the tutorial. It's all very dimensional, you can see here, but again, a lot of that is optional, and it will fold flat. You can fold it either way. Probably best for me that way if I was to ever give it away. Like with many of my cards, you don't need any specialty dies to make this one, so let's get started. So I'm using the Shaun the Sheep. This is called Festive Shaun the Sheep. This is the A5 stamp and die set. May well use some of these. I'm thinking maybe the strips. These are the washi strips, and then the papers from the Festive Shaun the Sheep paper pad. So it's an 8x8, you get 24 sheets, you get some backgrounds in there, you get toppers, and you get these designs as well. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to choose just yet. And then I've also got a piece of the Snowfall Acetate. This is optional. You don't have to have acetate. You could have it as an open aperture. So I've got all my bits and pieces coloured there, which I will show you in a moment. But what you need is a piece of 7 by 7 3/4. To be honest, the height, which is the 7 3/4, you could have any height. You could change that. It's the width that will wrap and stick onto this piece. So along the 7-inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch, 1.5, 5.5 and 6.5. And you'll see I've already got my die, and I've actually cut it as well, and that's using the nested, it's the inverted scallop nested rectangles, and the size I've used is the one that's around 3.5 by 5.5. Again, it doesn't have to be a rectangle shaped aperture. You might want to just cut a square. You could use your trimmer. If you don't have any dies, you might want to cut a couple of circles. You could have, you know, different shapes, might be a star. So play around, use what you've got. But the nice thing about the inverted ones, they give you that instant frame. So you can see you've got a really pretty design there. Now you could have this either way. I'm going to have it at the bottom, the same as the other card, because I'm going to have another sentiment down here, or maybe, you know, some of the images, and then the top is for this piece here. So this is the whole height of A4 card. So if you don't use A4, you've got letter size, which is 11, then yours will be 11 by 4. But if you're using A4, then it's just the full width, which is usually around 11 3/4 by 4. You could do 12 if you want. Again, if you don't want it this big, this tall, bring this down a bit to whatever envelope size that you want to use. So with this piece here, just carefully fold and burnish the score lines, because I haven't added that acetate yet. It will make it stronger once you do. And like I said, if you're not using the acetate, once you stick this down, it will become stronger. But this is going to stick onto the front here. I'm going to stick it on the front because I'm going to be sticking a pattern paper over the joins. But if you, for some reason, want to do it differently, you could stick this on the back so you don't see the joins. Maybe you just want that to stay white. And then you could just add, you know, a matte layer to cover the joins on the back, or leave it. It's not the end of the world. Things like that don't bother me if they're on the back of the card. But I'm going to stick mine onto the front. But before I do that, obviously I want to stick the pattern paper in, and the acetate. So your acetate just needs to be big enough to cover your aperture. So for me, I'm going to cut this so that it is 3 3/4 by 6. That will fit behind this size aperture, but you'll just have to work yours out. So I'm going to cut that and stick it behind. Okay, so everything's stuck down now. I've got my paper cut here. I cut this just under 4, so it's more like 3 7/8 by 7 3/4. So I'm going to stick this down first, and then I'm just going to slide that in and stick it on top. I think that's going to be still quite easy to do. I'm going to use the construction glue, so this is going to make everything nice and strong. So I'm going to run the glue all down there. Again, if you're sticking it on the back, then you'll want to add your glue on that side. And then I'm just going to line that one up with the edge there. And then again, just run your glue down this side. And if you keep it all flat, then you'll know it'll fit in your envelope if that's what you want to do. And it should, if you just lift it up carefully, yeah, or turn it over, line up nicely with the back there, with the other side. Just fold it both ways. There we go, so it's all stuck down. And then this piece, just check that it's going to fit in. Like I said, I brought it in slightly under that 4 inches, but I think that's yeah, I think that's going to look really cool. And you can still stamp onto this in your stamping platform. It still goes flat, but if you do want to have a sentiment stamp there and you don't want to put it together first, then just stamp that before you stick it all down. So that's now all ready to decorate. So I've got my images here, and if you've got this set, you'll notice that mine have been cut slightly differently. So you can see it's got these two like snowflakes attached. I've cut those off, so I've actually fussy cut mine out, or die cut it all and then just snip around them. I just didn't want a lot of white space, and again with him, but you can see he's got all of the extra bits around him, so I've just cut around that. I've also cut multiple baubles. I may stamp and colour a couple more, we'll see. And then I've got the little one there as well. And then I'm going to have We Wish You a Merry Christmas. And then I think I'm going to have Festive Wishes and Woolly Kisses at the bottom here. So I think actually what I'm going to do is stamp those sentiments next, because then I can work around those. And I'm going to get the little Christmas lights out that I want to use. Okay, so I've been having to play around, and I think I'm going to change the shape of the top of this. So it's like a little roof, and then it made me think you could have this then as maybe a nativity scene. This could be the inn, and you could have this in, you know, browns, and I think that would look quite sweet. So another idea for you, but I've got these 2 strips. I'm going to trim them down. It is going to make this taller again, but like I said, I'm not bothered because it's going to be hand delivered. So I think I'm going to have something like that, and then I quite liked this piece to go on top, and I'll just trim them down to there and then trim off the white pieces. So these are 3/4 wide, and then it's up to you what you trim, and that's 1 by 1. So I'll stick those down in a minute. I'll talk you through the rest of the decoration so I can get that done as well. So I'm going to have this one on the front on some foam, and then these 3 and like the lights and things like that. What I've done is I've cut these pieces here, which are 2 by 1 inch. Along the 2 inch side, you want to score at 1/2 inch, 1 inch and 1.5. The 1 inch width, that could vary. I may end up cutting mine so they're 1/2 inch, because just fold them all. They're going to be like this, and they're extra little platforms inside for you to then stick whatever you want onto. You could have these in acetate if you want. So I'm actually going to stick him on it first and then stick it in. I would usually stick them in and then add my character or whatever it is, but I want to make sure I get the height of him right inside. So I'm sticking it onto the second panel or section. So there's the edge. You've got one that is stuck on, and then the other 2 coming around like so. If you fold the whole thing now in half, so I've got 2 on the front and I've got 2 on the back. It's the 2 outer ones that you want to add your glue to. So that one and that one. And then I'm just going to place this in, and you want to butt this outer like open edge right up to the bottom fold. So this corner here. I want to make sure he's right in there. I think about there. Like I said, it's easy when you haven't got something stuck on, but I just wanted to make sure I got him exactly where I want. So you can see it's pushed right up to this bottom fold, and then just fold that over. And now the top panel will stick to the side here, and the bottom one's stuck to the back. So now when you bring this up, you've got that little dimensional 3D element. I'm just going to curve the card a little bit. Fold it that way as well. There we go. So now he's positioned halfway. It just gives you a bit more dimension inside. So I probably won't have all of these. I'm going to stick maybe some of the baubles onto another one. I'm going to have the bottom of him, his tail will probably just be attached there, or maybe I'll have his hat. Maybe it'll be a bit more back. I might have him balancing on that back leg, and he's going to be towards the bottom here. No, actually it'll probably be there. So it looks like he stood on top of that present. But yeah, I'll have that one on that side, and then I might, you know, add those as well. We'll see. So I'm gonna, yeah, get everything else stuck down, and then I can show you any extra decorations that I'm adding. Okay, so I am super pleased with this. So you can see I've got the two on the little extra like platform there. I've stuck one of the baubles on some foam in there, one on the outside there and there. Also added him up there, which I thought looked quite cute and doesn't take away from the sentiment. Cut all of that down, and then I've got my box of Christmas treats. I've got so many lovely little bits and bobs in here, and I know I said about adding the lights, but I'm thinking now I've got these little holly and the berries, and they could work on the baubles. So I could maybe have on there. Lots of this stuff's very old. It's things I've collected over the years. If I can find any links, I will. But I get them from like The Works, The Range, Amazon. But I think that looks quite cute. I like that. I might be able to get one on in there as well. And I mean, I've got like little candy canes. These are from my old Papercraft Society. They'd be good to actually put on his hands there, but I could have maybe a little candy cane somewhere. These are the lights that I was thinking of using. I was just going to kind of have them hanging, use my hot glue and just try and attach and get that the right way across like the back. I mean, I guess I could still have them, so they could look quite cute around there on the house, couldn't they? I could have 3 on that side and 3 on the other. Okay, so there is the finished card. I did end up adding the lights, and I've just stuck a little bit of glue underneath there and then the string there, but I've left the other ones just so they kind of move a little bit. But I think it's lovely. I've just been back in the original one just so you can see them side by side. You know, completely different themes and style, but I think it works really well. So yeah, definitely a good one for anything that you've got in your stash, really. Just have some fun with it. So I hope you've enjoyed this fun card idea from me today. As always, I will try and link as much of the products that I've used in the description box below. Check out the playlist coming up here. I'll have all of the other shadow box cards, they'll be in there, so you might want to check that out next. You'll be able to find some of the product by clicking here as well, and make sure you're subscribed, and that way you won't miss out on future videos. See you all again soon. Bye.